All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling a big question for a lot of professionals out there. Is packing up and moving to Oman for a job really the golden opportunity it's made out to be? We're going to go way beyond the shiny travel ads to look at the real pros, the very real cons, and all the crucial details you need before you even think about making a move. This quote pretty much nails the dream, doesn't it? It paints a picture of a place that's not just offering you a paycheck, but a whole lifestyle upgrade, financially and culturally. It's this powerful idea that pulls in thousands of skilled people from all over the globe every single year. But here's the million-dollar question. Does the reality actually live up to the hype? To really get the Oman dream, it helps to think of it like a brilliant advertisement. And just like any great ad, it starts with a killer hook, something designed to grab your attention and not let go. So what are the things that make Oman seem so irresistible? Let's start with the most powerful number of them all, zero. That's right, 0%. That's how much personal income tax you pay in Oman. It means the number you see on that offer letter is the number that actually hits your bank account. For a lot of people, that's like getting an instant 20, maybe even 30% raise compared to back home. I mean, wow. Then you have this number, 25%. On average, that's about how much higher an expat compensation package is in Oman compared to what you'd probably make for the same job in your home country. And we're not just talking about base salary here. We're talking about the whole shebang, allowances, perks, the works, that can seriously boost what you take home. And finally, 30. That's the number of paid vacation days most folks in the private sector get each year. That's a solid 10 more days than the average in many Western countries, which means you get a real shot at a decent work-life balance, and maybe some time to actually explore the region. Okay, so the financial side of things is obviously very, very tempting. But beyond the perks you can see right away, there's a bigger promise at play here. It's a promise of stability and genuine long-term opportunity. Let's dig into what's behind all that. This right here is the engine making everything go. The government has this huge multi-billion-dollar plan they call Vision 2040. Basically, they're future-proofing their economy so it's not all about oil. That means new jobs and real growth in areas like tourism, logistics, and even renewable energy. The message they're sending to the world is loud and clear. We're building something that's going to last. So after the dream comes the paperwork, of course. Getting your work visa for Oman is the first major hurdle you've got to clear. It can be a pretty smooth process, but you can also think of it as a maze. One wrong turn, and you could find your journey is over before it's even really started. This slide shows you the right way to do it. This is the legitimate path, and following these steps is your absolute best defense against scams and rejections. You apply, you interview, you get a real offer, and then, and this is key, your employer handles the sponsorship. There are no shortcuts, no secret handshakes. Anyone who says otherwise is a massive red flag. Now here's the crazy part. Every single year, thousands of perfectly qualified people get their applications denied. It's not because they aren't good enough for the job. It's because they make simple, totally avoidable mistakes on the application itself. So are you making any of them? Here are some of the classic tripwires. A CV that's formatted so poorly that an automated system just rejects it, a generic cover letter you copied from the internet, or maybe just ignoring one small instruction on the embassy's website. Seriously, little things like that can get your application tossed in the trash immediately. Preparation is absolutely everything. Okay, let's talk about an even more serious challenge. The huge demand for jobs in Oman has, of course, attracted a ton of scammers. These people prey on your dreams and take advantage of what you don't know about the official process. Knowing how to spot them is a critical skill. So let's put you to the test. How confident are you, really, that you could tell the difference between a life-changing job offer and a sophisticated fraud that's designed to take all your money? These are the absolute classic red flags you have to watch out for. If you get a job offer without ever doing an interview, it's a scam. If the company is using a free email address like Gmail, it's a scam. And if some agent claims he's got a special in at the embassy, that's a huge warning sign. Real, legitimate processes are transparent, and they would never, ever ask you to be dishonest. So what happens after you get the job, you get the visa, and you finally land in Oman? Well, this is where the dream meets the day-to-day reality. Let's take an honest look at what it's actually like to live and work there, balancing the good with the not so good. Here is your first big trade-off. On the one hand, Oman is one of the safest countries on the planet. That is a massive plus, especially if you're moving with your family.
On the other hand, the social scene is very, very conservative. If you're looking for a bustling nightlife, you'll find it's pretty much all confined to the big hotels because of strict licensing laws.
Everybody loves sunshine, right? Well, Oman has over 300 days of it a year, which is perfect for an outdoor lifestyle. But the flip side to that is the summer. We're talking extreme, brutal heat that soars past 45 degrees Celsius. It makes being outside dangerous during the day and sends your air conditioning bill through the roof. Now, this is really important. There's a government policy called Omanization. It requires companies to hire a certain percentage of Omani citizens, sometimes up to 35%. Now, the goal is to build up the local workforce, which makes total sense. But for an expat, this can mean fewer job openings, slower promotions, and a bit of uncertainty when it comes to long-term job security. Okay, time to talk about the part we all want to know about, the money. We've heard about the big, tax-free salary. But how does that number actually translate to your lifestyle and your savings account once you factor in the real cost of living? Take a look at these monthly tax-free numbers. A petroleum engineer can pull in over $8,000. An IT manager is looking at around $6,750. What this tells you is that if you're in a specialized technical role, especially in oil and gas, you can be compensated incredibly well. These are the kinds of impressive figures that are at the very heart of Oman's financial appeal. But that awesome salary gets carved up really quickly. Housing is easily the biggest expense, often eating up over a third of your income right off the top. Once you add in food, transportation, and utilities, that huge paycheck can suddenly start to feel a lot more normal. And you really have to watch out for the hidden costs. Rents in the capital, Muscat, are on the rise, fast. And here's a big one. A lot of companies will only pay for health insurance for the employee, not their family. That means covering your spouse and kids could cost you thousands of dollars a year, which can seriously eat into that tax-free advantage. So after all of that, where do we land? We've looked at the powerful dream, the bureaucratic headaches, the lifestyle trade-offs, and the hard financial realities. What's the final verdict? In the end, that's the question that only you can answer. Oman really does offer a unique package: amazing savings potential, an incredibly safe environment, and an economy that's growing. But it comes with real challenges, like career limits from Omanization, a high cost of living, and big cultural adjustments. So, is it a golden ticket or is it a gamble? The most important thing is to go in with your eyes wide open, understanding both the incredible promise and the calculated risks.